Hello, everybody. Mike from Southern California again, and you're on the mic. So today is Monday, September 30th, 2019, the last day of September here. On today's episode of On the Mic, I'm going to be just giving kind of a weekend wrap up, as there wasn't a whole lot of big news that came out. A few stories here and there, so I'll talk about those in brief. First off, we'll head right into probably the biggest story of the lot is Vic. Of course, Vic Mignogna and Nick Rekieta were both at HawaiiCon this weekend, and basically it looked like from what I've been able to see and tell, it looks like he had a pretty good time. He did have had some people go over there and stuff like that. Saw some beautiful scenery provided to us by Nick via his Twitter account. Of course, that didn't stop Kick Vic from trying to spoil their fun. He had a couple of the Twitter lawyers jumping on him, and apparently they don't understand reflections too well, because they're saying, well, Vic's line is empty because we see in the reflection in your sunglasses there, Nicky boy. Guys, apparently you don't understand how reflections work. You actually have to, for a reflection to work, you actually have to be facing the person in order to see an accurate reflection. Nick was facing the camera. Nick was facing the camera. Vic was actually behind him. And you could see Vic and a nice little line growing there in the background there. He was obviously looking at another table that happened to be empty. Not Vic's. But again, it was announced that Vic announced, I guess, the winner of a DBZ. He was part of the DBZ gaming tournament, and he was there to announce the winner as well. He also participated in a charity event for the late Aaron Heisenberg. So, it looked like they had a pretty good time. I mean, I guess for a lot of people, having a convention in Hawaii is paradise, Well, with that being said, moving on. One other big piece of news that came out over this weekend is reported by That Umbrella Guy and Senpai's Home, was the fact that Mad Black Atheist, Mad Black Entertainment, was able to secure an interview with Ron Toy. I know there's been a lot of hoopla. Well, NBA is Kick Vic. This is Kick Vic now because I know Senpai's Home made some pretty good points. Just because he was able to secure an interview doesn't necessarily mean that he's Kick Vic. He chose to give Ron a platform to tell his side of the story. Now, whether or not you believe his side of the story is up to you. Based on everything I've seen and heard, I wouldn't trust this man to throw to get a 100-pound cannonball, throwing it from here to the end of the street. But or I guess as the saying goes, I wouldn't trust the man as far as I can throw him. But that's another issue for another day. And if it's anything like we saw, like I think Yellow Flash also covered something where I guess somebody did a test. I don't know if it was Mad Black Atheist himself or somebody else who did a I don't know if it was That Umbrella Guy or Yellow Flash who covered this, but I guess he did a text interview in which they were texting back and forth to set up for more of a live interview, which he talked about his past and supposedly talked about knowing, yeah, I'm aware that those records, but my ex-wife is support this and next thing. Again, I personally don't find Ron all that credible to begin with, based on what we do know about him already. So I take everything he says with a grain of salt. I mean, even to this day, they have never really managed to provide evidence that Vic did these things that, and apparently if Vic's actions were so egregious, why not go to the police? The arguments fall flat. Their whole narrative falls flat, and they know it. That's why you've seen the last couple of weeks here as the mediation deadline draws closer, why you would have a few of the Kick Vickers starting to stir up trouble again. Some of the, as I call them, the bit players trying to stir the pot. But yeah, he, Mad Black Atheist was able to secure an interview with Ron Toy because Ron felt he was the most neutral or the most friendly to his side. Be that what it may. If you choose to watch the interview, that's totally up to you. But I have a feeling most of us already know what he's going to say, so I don't really think, again, it's up to you. I just put it out there that because it's newsworthy, so it's totally up to you what to do with that information. Let's see, was there anything else? Well, as I talked about, of course, Kick Vic has been stirring the pot the last couple of weeks. As I said, today is Monday, September 30th. We're 3 days away from the mediation deadline. Now, Judge Shupp had ordered all parties, including Jamie, even though she was dismissed, to mediation. He was now again, we haven't heard as of yet if they have met. They will most likely meet in the next couple of days here, 2 or 3 days. They have to have, if they don't have it settled by the 3rd, then the judge is going to rule on the 4th. He has up until the 6th, which is a Sunday, which is why he'd be most likely to rule on the 4th. Basically, as I see it, one of 3 options could happen. 1, the judge could just dismiss the remaining charges, which would likely lead to Ty appealing the majority, if not all the dismissed charges. Basically, we pretty much know no matter what he rules on, he's going to get appealed. Okay, if he dismisses the remaining charges, Ty will most likely appeal. If not all the charges, the majority of them. I see at least 13 of the 17 that would likely get appealed if judge just decides to throw out the remaining counts. The other option number 2 is the judge could not only rule in favor of moving forward on the remaining counts, but also bring Jamie back on overrule himself. Nick talked about the judge could overrule rather than waiting for the appeals process. He could simply sit there and say, I made a mistake. I had a bad day. Jamie, you're back in this. Most likely, I think if he was to do that, it would be on defamation, civil conspiracy, and I also think that Funimation would not only would uphold the defamation on Funimation, but would probably bring them back for civil conspiracy and vicarious liability. Chances are, if Funimation is still in this after the rulings, in other words, if he either upholds, I'll get to that in a moment. But if Jamie is brought back into this, more than likely her attorney would appeal it. Would appeal. Well, Judge, you said she was dismissed. You dismissed all this against her. Why is she back in it? He would likely appeal it. Funimation would likely either appeal or they would settle. I don't think Sony. I think Sony, because they just acquired Funimation and the deal's going through, I think they might press Funimation to just deal and get out of this mess. And I could see Lemoyne possibly, if the judge does decide to overrule his own ruling on the TIs against Monica and Ron, Lemoyne would likely appeal it, say, hey, you dismiss this. Why are you bringing us back? Now, the most likely option I see, this is the one I see is most likely. Chup is most likely, this is just my own personal opinion based on what I've observed. Okay? But, I believe the most likely option is going to be that Judge Chup will uphold the remaining counts. Ty will most likely appeal the accounts that got dismissed. And Jamie could very well find herself back in the thick of it, as well as Funimation. So, those are the most I think that's the most likely option. The judge will uphold the remaining count. And then there's one other little caveat too here. I believe it's strong, particularly if the judge is aware that Jamie's been running her mouth on Twitter after he basically told everybody to calm down and go to mediation. He might, we all thought that he was all full of wrath against Ty at the TCPA hearing. He might bring down some of that wrath on Jamie for running her mouth. And he might drag her back into this, which is another reason why Johnson might appeal it if she's brought back into it. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, we got three more days till that all stuff comes up. And with all that, there's not much more. Well, again, the only other thing I might mention is I caught Toy Bounty Hunters panel stream with Erica McCord, Origami, and Broly Power Maximum. It was a good conversation. We learned some interesting stories about the con life from Erica. If you guys missed it, you guys might want to check out Toy Bounty Hunters site. With all that said, you guys check the links below. My Twitter handle will be down there. Want to contact me directly, you can always DM me or comment on the videos or on my tweets. Also, as you guys know, I'm promoting a number of different, production companies, dubbing companies. Guys, always remember that Funimation is not the only game in town. Yeah, they are trying to build a monopoly, but the way you stop monopolies is by supporting other options. There are like 7 other options out there that you guys could go and check out the dubs of. So and also I'm also supporting like Vic's GoFundMe and you know and Lisa Ortiz's family's GoFundMe for her brothers, as well as Tug's Indiegogo. As always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. It's greatly appreciated, but nobody wants you to go bankrupt over it. If you are able to, and it's on your heart to do so, please consider donating. If you've already donated, please consider donating again. And if you cannot donate, you can at least still help the cause by sharing the links. You share the links. Maybe there's somebody in your network of friends who might see it and might say, hey, something, maybe I want to give this guy a hand too. Maybe I'll help out by donating. It's totally up to you. And if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I always look forward to the conversation with you guys, as long as it's respectful. No harassment or taunting or any kind of nasty comments. As I said, I think if you guys like, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And with that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, let's keep the conversation going because you're on the mic. Bye.